Hey, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about how pirated content is the best form of media consumption, and I want anyone to try to tell me I'm wrong. Try to prove me wrong. Now, if you want to see the written versions of the video, you can find a link to our website in the video description. Now, I want to make this very clear. There's some footnotes I want to mention first, and of course, we'll dive into the meat and potatoes of this video. First and foremost, do not do anything illegal. That is not the point of this video. This is simply a discussion on how stuff that is shared with others online using peer-to-peer is most people do it for free. They just turn the computer on, leave their internet on, and they'll host content and share it with others around the world. How is that they do a better job than companies like the Walt Disney Company, which owns Disney Plus, which is valuated at about $222 billion. These are all USD. Netflix, which obviously owns the Netflix streaming service, at $454 billion. And Amazon, which owns Prime Video, at roughly $2.71 trillion. People just doing it at home are doing a much better job than these folks. The other thing I want to mention, of course, is that for the rest of this video, I'm not going to be saying pirated content. I'll just say peer-to-peer. I know there's different ways to get it done. I just don't want the algorithm to kind of shake its finger at me and ban this video. Again, do not do anything illegal. The last thing I want to address is price is not a concern here. I know the first thing people always say is, well, peer-to-peer is the best because it's free. Free! I know that, but we're removing the equation of price from all of this. The fact that peer-to-peer is free and streaming and Blu-ray discs and all that has money associated with it, that's not the point. We're just trying to discuss how it is a better media consumption with peer-to-peer. Because it is kind of weird and baffling when you talk about it, right? Because peer-to-peer was growing very popular. Streaming services came in, they're super cheap, like the original Netflix. I think the original Netflix 1080p plan, because there's no 4K for a while, if I remember correctly, was cheaper than my 1080p plan today with ads that allows less devices to connect. So streaming services, when they were first introduced, and were kind of decent with price to value of content to watch, were killing off peer-to-peer. But now because everything's becoming so expensive and shitification kicked in, peer-to-peer is growing on the rise again. Let's see why. So I had to actually make notes about this because I cannot use the argument of free. But I decided, okay, let me do some brainstorming, and here's what I came up with. The first point is the most baffling one to kids these days: ownership. With content that you have that you've gone through peer-to-peer, you own it. I know you don't own the rights to it. That's not the point. I'm saying literally the media, the file, you own it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can make copies on your external hard drive. You can make a copy on a USB stick. You can give it to a friend. You can take it and put it on your home server if you want. You can do anything you want with it. Ownership. Keep that in mind. Ownership is a dying word these days. The other thing is that you can take it anywhere you want without an internet connection. So you can use it on a plane or a train. The other thing about this is that a lot of people overlook that, hey, I have high-speed internet, what do I care? Or I have a great 5G plan on my cell phone. The problem is there's a lot of people that live in the suburbs that don't have that. They have to rely on like satellite internet. So streaming is just abysmal for them. But peer-to-peer has great resuming functionality. So if your internet disconnects, you can resume it. It does it flawlessly. It does an amazing job. And of course, the other thing about saving content offline, say for like Netflix, is temporary. So if you plan to do a backpack trip to Europe for like 2-3 weeks, that content won't stay on your phone forever. Eventually it'll just self-delete or it won't be accessible. With peer-to-peer content, that's never a problem. This one's a bit weird, but hear me out. Peer-to-peer is a form of preserving art. There's a lot of content that you see on Netflix or even Spotify music streaming services. It's part of my playlist. I'll go back to this song. I haven't heard it in a long time, really like it. It's just gone because the rights kicked in or they didn't want to pay the licensing fees. They're like, who cares? It's not worth it. Peer-to-peer sharing, having it distributed worldwide, there's some really hard to get content, some old stuff. It's a form of preserving art. With peer-to-peer, there's a higher likelihood that you can get a version of something where it's not being modified and butchered by these movie studios. So for example, when George Lucas used to own Lucasfilms, he kept retouching and remodifying the original Star Wars trilogy. He basically started ruining it, especially with the Return of the Jedi ending. If anyone hasn't watched it, you have to watch the original trilogy. Don't watch the other videos. The other ones suck. Just watch the original trilogy. But the very ending, he changed it with Hayden Christensen, I think. Nothing against the actor, but that modified ending was kind of creepy and weird. It's cringe, I think is the word kids use these days. And he kept shoving more CGI stuff into the films, and it just got ruined. The other thing is, what else do I have? AI enhancements. Some of these studios will, redefine videos and put it on streaming services, but they've AI enhanced it, which actually ruins the way it used to look. And what's my next note here? Plain stupid decisions like widescreen versions of Simpsons ruining some jokes. This is what Disney Plus decided to do. They took the 4:3 aspect ratio because that's how they used to play on broadcast live TV, and then they put in widescreen mode, but it ruined this. So if you look at this article from Screen Rant, what they have on the left is the original 4:3 ratio version, and you can see that these 3 Duff brands are actually just filling in from 1 Duff beer. But on the widescreen version on the right, they cut off the entire joke at the top. Like, the entire thing is missed. What executive in a suit thought that was a good idea? Now, on the complete opposite side of things, you can actually modify the peer-to-peer content to the way of your liking. So, for example, some songs like Nirvana's, I think it's MTV Unplugged, some other versions played there of their songs are like way better than the originals. But what happens is some at the ending of the songs, I think it's Kirk and some of the band, like Dave Grohl or whatever, they start talking and stuff, but I don't want that. I just want to go to the next song, okay? You can chop that talking off. So it's just the music and it'll go straight over. The other thing you can do is cut out awkward nude scenes in videos. So this is more prevalent in the 90s. It's not as common now. But what happened is, like, so for example, I think it was Titanic. It came out when I was like 13 or something, and I watched it as a family with my parents. It was really weird because you had this nude painting. That was a lot of the story was driven by, but it was just a drawing. It was like whatever. It was weird, but not too weird. But then they had this random nude scene in the middle of the movie or something like that, and it was really weird. I know some people argue like, no, it was important to the film. Yeah, but you didn't have to make it actually nude. You could have just showed the actress's head. I think it's Kate Winslet. I can't remember. You could have showed her neck and up. Why did they have to have this really bizarre nude scene? It was uncomfortable to watch with my family, but it was just uncomfortable even with the characters in the movie. It was weird. Anyway, so you can cut that out. Another thing, of course, is video games. This is a very interesting one. This one took a bit of brainstorming before the thing popped in my head. I had to do some research on it. Some PC video games load faster because they don't do annoying licensing checks on every single boot up. Take, for example, Call of Duty on Xbox. The one from 2024, I think, that released. Black Ops 3? I don't know. They're all the same name. Anyway, it was so annoying because I always have to do a licensing activation check to servers. But with peer-to-peer versions, if it's cracked, they will skip that entire thing and just boot the video game. Another thing about video games is that PC video games work for many years, whereas companies such as Ubisoft will kill off games you paid for and can't use again because the activation server is down. Ubisoft is one of the most notorious with this. You pay for something, they take it down, no refund, no nothing, and usually also with no warning. Another thing that seems to be getting worse, especially when you're paying for the service, is ads. With peer-to-peer, there are absolutely no ads at all. Here's another one, better quality. Streaming compresses quality of videos and songs like crazy. Just because something is 4K doesn't mean it's good. My DSLR that I'm recording with, this camera, it's a Panasonic GH5 with the lens, I think is about $3,500. This is like almost 5 years ago or something like that, whenever it came out. It can record 1080p content. It's a 4K camera, but if I switch it to 1080p, I guarantee the quality and the bitrate of it much better than Netflix movies recorded with a $100,000 camera and with people working in very expensive video editing software. This is not a knock on the director, cameraman, video editors. The problem is they do everything amazing, and then when it plays on Netflix, it plays at a very compressed rate that the 4K quality will not look as good as my 1080p quality in raw format. In fact, even this video on YouTube is being compressed like crazy. The quality is nowhere near as good as it should be. Of course, I'm also aware that this is very dependent that the peer-to-peer content, the source, it was ripped from a Blu-ray. It wasn't a web rip from like a Netflix playing actively, because then that would kind of defeat half the purpose. By simply entering your email, first name, and last name into a free service like Spotify for free, they're already tracking everything you do and selling your data because they have your first name, last name, and your email address if you give the real information. It gets worse when you pay with a credit card for paying for streaming services because then they actually know your real name. And then to take it another level higher, if you're using a mobile app which collects insane data instead of using their website like Brave Piracy browser. So if you're using Spotify app, Netflix app, Prime, Hulu, they're notorious for collecting your data even when you don't want it to. It's a massive privacy invasion. Another thing is central access with peer-to-peer content, because whenever you watch it, you could be in a centralized service such as Plex server or Jellyfin. With paid content, you have to have Blu-ray discs, and if you want to change the movie, you got to swap your discs around. With streaming services, there's multiple streaming services you have to register for because some of the content is exclusive. It's annoying and a hassle. Yes, this is a simple one. Peer-to-peer content can be used anywhere in the world, whereas some specific services on streaming services are region locked. No clunky apps. This is a big one. Apps like Netflix and Prime Video, for example, become more bloated, operate slower, and services like Prime Video apps, especially on my NVIDIA Shield Android TV, now shove ads in your face on the main page. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Peer-to-peer content, you can play on something simple as VLC, like a video player on VLC on your computer or your Android device. Also, the apps such as Plex, they're a bit more sophisticated than services like VLC, but they're not as bloated as Netflix or Prime Video as examples. Okay, so this one takes the cake. This one I had to do a bit of research, and then one of the links told me to check Louis Rossmann, because I saw his videos. He covers this, I think, multiple times in different videos. You might want to check that out. No hardware or software requirements, such as how Netflix infamously required Edge browser on computers or certain smart TVs to play 4K content. So basically what's happening is that you could buy a 4K plan from Netflix and it wasn't actually playing in 4K. So if you weren't using Edge browser on a Windows computer, it wasn't playing 4K. It was playing 1080p and stretching it to your 4K monitor if you had a 4K monitor. But what if you have a 4K TV with a 4K media player, like the NVIDIA Shield? Well, what would happen is the NVIDIA Shield, when it's plugged in, it would say, hey, I have a resolution of 4K, right? 2160p. So you're like, okay, well, everything playing has got to be 4K, right? If it says it is, it is. And you have a 4K Netflix plan. You would automatically think, okay, it's going to play my Netflix 4K content in 4K, except it wouldn't. Almost every single media player, what it would do was say, hey, play this content. It's listed as 4K on Netflix because I think they used to have a 4K section. I don't know if they do anymore. I hardly use Netflix, as you can tell. You play it, but it would play in 1080p. But then the Netflix app would say, hey, I'm supposed to be playing at 4K because that's what the media player set to. I'm going to stretch the 1080p video that is advertised as 4K and stretch it to match the 4K screen that you have. But I'm actually playing 1080p content. So is Netflix lying in that case? No. But it's borderline false marketing because it's in these terms and conditions buried that no one's going to find and read. Again, that's why Louis Rossmann covered it a lot and he did a very good job of it. This is another example. Peer-to-peer video games can be more modder friendly. Even if the publisher doesn't sell or manage a game anymore through legit means, like you paid for it, they refuse to let the community have more fun with it by modifying it. So some of these modifications meaning making the graphics better, making the frame rates better, and just tweaking some of the animations and stuff. I'm sure I might have missed something or a few points. I would love to see what people have to say in the comments. Again, do not do anything illegal. This was just simply a discussion to explain how people who do this stuff for free at home are doing better job than multi-billion-dollar and in some cases multi-trillion-dollar companies. And yeah, so try to prove me wrong. You can't. Even if you're an employee of Netflix and you watch this video and you're part of the PR team, you try to write something snarky in the comments, you can't. The biggest things from this list for me is ownership, better quality, and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. I can't do that with your paid service. I can't even do that with a paid Blu-ray. With Blu-rays, you're not allowed to rip them in many countries. So you bought the Blu-ray disc, you're not allowed to make a copy. You're just not allowed to do it. So do you own your Blu-ray disc? It's a question to ask yourself. This is where there's a gray area, right? And that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful, that you try to own stuff. I'm not saying do anything illegal, but you should look to own your content. Stop trying to stream stuff. Look for alternatives. I might make video on how I'm slowly shifting away to ownership and dropping streaming. I can make that video, but that's pretty much a wrap. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my website, link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, it literally helps my channel grow. Maybe consider hitting the super thanks button. It's a little heart icon below this video. And that's a wrap.